All right, welcome to another installment of the Fragments of Silicon reviews. Back here again after a week off, more or less. Um, but we are rejuvenated and ready to get back to work, as it were. For in a fictional historic era with art inspired by the Tang and Song dynasties. As a diligent manager, you will guide hardworking villagers to transform a remote village into a prosperous home through exploration, construction, production, and trade. And that is a pretty succinct encapsulation of what this game is. Also, boy, we've been getting a lot of city builders this year. And in terms of tradition,
it's a doable genre, so
yes. Anyway, as I was saying, as far as the traditionality of the city builder here, as to its art style, can't really speak to it because it's been a couple of decades since I was immersed into Chinese history.
Yeah,
and
most us here aren't exactly art nerds. We're more of the history.
I've had art history and all that stuff, but traditional Chinese art was not a field of expertise.
Right.
Now, I did.
You probably have to be studying it at at least a late high school and more likely a college level to really get a lot of historical.
Well, I mention this because
art history.
Because I did have a class specifically focused on the Tang Dynasty, aka the Second Chinese Golden Age. But I don't remember us studying a lot of art there. Granted, I did select an essay about how art flowed along the Silk Road, but once again, this is all stuff that was done decades ago at this point. And the Song Dynasty, if I'm remembering correctly, I want to say that's around Mongol times. It's a dynasty I didn't study. Is the point there? So, sure. From what I can tell, the developers are from China. So they got that going for it. Oh no, it's the dynasty right after the Tang Dynasty. Anyway, getting away from the semantics of Chinese art and their dynastic influences, in terms of it being a city builder, it's definitely a casual yet traditional, as in, if you played SimCity, if you played Tropico, if you've played, a big boy PC city builder, strategy game, simulation, whatever you want to call them, you know how this thing plays.
I will say, just playing this has a lot of stuff of the modern mobile, I guess,
yes,
city builder things.
That's about where I was going to segue to. Because I was about to say, with the caveat of this feeling like a mobile title. Now, I know game feel is kind of a hard thing to transmute over, speech and voice and images. But this game feels like a mobile title. It's how all the units are, they slide around. And you upgrade by combining them. It's all very pseudo touch based. I say that because as far as I know, this is a PC title. Now, I know that does not preclude it from coming to mobile, but It has no Android or iOS version. It's got no microtransactions. The biggest tell that it's a PC title, its UI isn't gargantuanly huge. You know, I've railed about that when we get the lazy mobile ports. It's like, hi, thing that was obviously designed for a screen that's a lot smaller than what PCs have.
Oh boy.
Yeah. And in terms of how casual it is, it's on the more casual side of things in that you don't have to deal with currency, you don't have to deal with taxes, you don't have to deal with upkeep, you know, the deeper strategy mechanics that you can find in one of these things. But on the other hand, you're not just handed infinite resources or complete access to the entire tool set either. No. You do have to build out, so to speak. As in, there are tiers of building, and you unlock buildings by combining buildings. And combining buildings isn't a free move either. You have to have a certain amount of food, stone, and wood. And you get those by planting trees, getting quarries, having farms. But once again, there's no resource cost to put those down. You can put as many as you want within resource parameters. That's about the only that's the only block. And you don't have to worry about, like, you can put down roads, but you don't have to worry about making sure transportation or a unit has to get there. Basically, that's the reinforcement of the casualness of this title.
In a more serious one, you would have to build roads, have more efficient distribution of troops and supplies, and
yes. It's, you know, it's like, if you want to have everything non-contiguous, sure, why not?
Go nuts, kid.
Yeah. And the other way you get resources is this game kind of combines sandbox mode with scenario mode. Because on that big tree over there, you have listings where you are given quests from the villagers, in that they want X amount of stone, X amount of wood. They want to see what a level 4 cottage looks like. And
I accidentally abandoned. I don't like there have abandon on the right side. Traditionally, at least for Western games, accept has been on the right.
Well, deliver is accept. Yeah.
No, I accidentally hit abandon.
Oh. Yeah, to actually exit out, you have to hit the X on top.
Yeah.
Like, and, you know, it all works. It's fine. I won't say I found this game to be super amazing. In fact, I suppose my problem with this game is the problem I have with many of these strategy games. That's bottlenecks. Because there are 5 scenarios, 5 chapters, 5 areas, and your ultimate goal is to get peak happiness or prosperity, measured in that bar on the left, the upper left there. And it takes a long time to fill that bar. Another clue as to this is being a PC game. Because if this were a mobile title, that bar would be filling up a lot faster.
Or you'd be putting money into the game to make it fill faster.
Right. But the problem, the problem you run up to when you have the casual city builder is lack of depth. At a certain point, I'd basically seen anything, and now it's just doing permutations of, filling the orders, getting the buildings combined, that kind of thing. And there's nothing else to pay attention to.
Yeah, unless they combine in interesting ways, and even then, once you've seen all the interesting ways that they can combine.
Yeah, so, I just got bored with this, and, granted, this past week has been very busy. I stopped, I stopped playing after a couple hours. So, this falls into what I like in casual strategy games. I like when they, I do like when they have some structure to them. As opposed to being, full-on creativity sandbox. But on the other hand, when you have actual strategy, you gotta sustain yourself with depth. Now, I will say, even like SimCity and so on and so forth have given me bottlenecks. Mainly because, you're waiting for the taxes to fill. You're waiting for the pyramid to be built, etc., etc., etc. It's just kind of endemic to the genre. But this one more thinner because there's just less to keep your attention.
Mm-hmm.
But on the other hand, it's more accessible. So that's the trade-off. Petty, Golix, do you have anything further you want to add to the conversation?
Not really. It's a game that's...
Not really. It looks nice, but yeah, it doesn't have nearly as much enough menus to be a really in-depth city builder.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And indeed, that is reflected in the price, as Ink Reverie is going to set you back a mere $10. So that's about what I would pay for in terms of a casual strategy game.
Mm-hmm.
Also, the soundtrack is here, which was fine. How authentically Chinese is. I'm gonna go on a limb here and say hard, impossible to glean, because we don't have actual recordings from the Tang or Song dynasty.
Yeah.
So, anyway, like I said, this is a perfectly cromulent game. It's fine, but doesn't really raise above that, and that's by design. So yeah, that'll about do it for Ink Reverie here. Be sure to tune in after the break, as Petty Fan will be reviewing Hyper Fantasy.